All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back or welcome to the channel if it's your first time. You may know me from my draft prospect profile / evaluation videos I did this previous cycle. If that's how you know me, I would encourage you to stick around. I plan on doing the same sort of thing next draft cycle, maybe with a little bit more detail, more prospects, and like that. Been thinking about doing something similar to what I'm doing right here, right now for a while. Um, just kind of talking football on a podcast, right? Or just content creation around the game of some sort. Played some college ball, coach some high school football now. Big Giants fan. Consume a lot of content from other Giants content creators or Giants content creators. I wouldn't consider myself that. Um, so been thinking about just getting involved myself a little bit. I really have a good time doing stuff like this and just consuming the game as much as I can. So it's kind of where we're at with this. I don't really have any consistent long term plans or ideas. More so just kind of trying it out and seeing where it goes. So you could call this the first episode. The topic I kind of plotted out and had in mind was 5 Giants I'm higher on than most, 5 Giants I'm lower on than most going into the 2026-2027 season. Waste no more time. We'll get right into it here. So I'm going to go through both lists in full, and then I will kind of go one by one through those lists and talk about why I feel the way I feel and why I place them there. So I'm higher on Abdul Carter, Drew Phillips, Cam Skattebo, Darius Alexander, and Tyrone Tracy. Let that sink in. I'm lower on, and don't kill me, Jackson Dart, Isaiah Likely, Tremaine Edmonds, Paulson Adebo, and I also put wide receiver 2 / Darius Slayton and Darnell Mooney. Kind of clump that together, the wide receiver 2 position, namely those two players, though. So we'll start with the guys I'm higher on than most. Cam Skattebo. I just feel like around the league and um, even some fans view him as a meme player. Like, oh, he's a fun CTE running back. He's a white running back, so it's kind of he's a meme player in some people's eyes. And there's aspects to his game, like sure, I understand he is actually a white running back. Yes, he runs hard, he hits with his head, etc. But he's also genuinely a good football player, a good running back, and he can have success in the NFL. I actually made a video on him like the week after he got hurt. It's now private on my channel, but kind of going through some points, and I stole some here or there from that video to use here in this video. Weeks 2 through 7. So he played week 1. He had 4 touches. Week 8, he got injured. So those middle 6 games from his rookie campaign, 96.3 scrimmage yards per game, which ranks 10th amongst all skill players in the NFL during that same time period. So we're talking top 10 running back, wide receiver, tight end over a 6-week period. And if you watch the games, I mean, he was the engine of the offense, man. I mean, that Giants team, the offense wasn't good. It just wasn't good, man. I mean, him and Dart, made some cool plays, and they were scrappy for a while. Kind of earlier in the season there when Dart kind of first got inserted into the lineup before Skattebo went down. But the stats are good. I mean, the guy scores touchdowns. He can catch the ball. He runs hard. He turns a 1-yard gain into 4. 3rd and 3, he goes and gets it. That kind of guy. I mean, he's not a home run threat. You know what I mean? But I mean, he's tough and he fights hard and he's the engine of your offense. He can get some stuff done for you between the sticks. So yeah, I'm really high on him. I don't think the ankle injury is going to be something that prevents his full recovery. It's something I talked about in that other video I mentioned as well. He broke his leg. You know what I mean? He didn't tear his MCL, ACL, and meniscus. He had a bone break. From what we know, there's no nerve damage. From what we know, there was no damage to the arteries in the leg. Those are kind of the main concerns. No infection after surgery and things like that. Those are the main concerns with an injury like that, where the bone breaks, it heals stronger. The ligament tears, it heals weaker, right? So we're not looking at something where it's like, oh, this might happen again. No, I mean he's already back in OTAs 100%. From the looks of it here. So I'm pretty confident he'll return to that old form. He was never the fastest anyway, right? So even if he did lose a step, I still think he's going to run as hard as he did. I still think he's going to be able to catch the ball, etc. So we'll move on here to my second player. It's going to be Abdul Carter. Kind of a slow start to his rookie year. So I think nationally, people view him. Some people might even see him as a bust. You know what I mean? If they're kind of a casual and didn't watch much of his tape, which you can't expect, and just kind of look at the stat sheet beyond the advanced analytic stats, like pressures and such. You say, okay, this guy had a disappointing rookie year for being, the third overall pick. However, he kind of figured it out, found a flow later in the year. He had 66 pressures off the edge last year, 11th in the NFL. I think he's year two, coming into a new system, overall improved defense. I'd say honestly, I like the coordinator better. You can't tell me he's not going to perform better than he did under Shane Bowen. I don't believe it. But he was a third overall pick, borderline like generational edge talent in some people's eyes. He's a freaky player. Year two is just going to get easier for him, and he already had 66 pressures. I just think he's just got to start bringing the quarterback down, and he will. And another point worth mentioning, the team is better overall. Like they should be more competitive later in the game, so he should have some opportunities in the late third and fourth quarter to still rush the passer, as opposed to last year. There's certainly points where the Giants are down by 14 or whatever, maybe two possessions, and the opposing team is just looking to run out the clock. So there's not really too many opportunities to rush the passer. Where if the Giants have a lead or at least making competitive, he'll have more opportunities to rush the passer later in the game and make an impact. Next is Darius Alexander. I'm actually going to kind of audible this mid episode podcast, whatever you want to call it here, mid ramble. I'm going to still make it Darius Alexander, but I'm also going to include at the end a little bit of the entire defensive tackle room. I'm higher on the most. Let's start with it. I'm as big of a Dexter Lawrence guy as anybody, right? I had his jersey. I still have it, but big fan of his game. I mean, he's certainly one of the most dominant players I've ever watched. I'm just turned 26 years old a couple weeks ago. One of the most dominant Giants I've ever seen. I mean, the guy is a freak. He's certainly one of one at the defensive tackle and nose tackle position. However, the defensive tackle room is more well-rounded this season. Shelby Harris, DJ Reader, Darius Alexander, Bobby Jamison Travis. I mean, there's some depth there. Whereas last year, obviously Darius Alexander was on the team, but it really just felt like it was Dexter Lawrence out there. Reader and Harris are going to provide that run stopping ability we lacked from the defensive tackle position, more so than we had last year. And I'm going to be honest with you, just give me pass rush from the outside. We have Kayvon Thibodeau, we have Arvell Reese, we have Abdul Carter, we have Brian Burns. We have the guys to rush off the edge. Give me some run stuff up the middle, especially with how god awful the run defense was last year. I think the interior defensive line group as a whole is going to be more impactful for the entire defense. And it's just going to look cleaner as a group than it did last year, to be honest, in spite of losing Dexter Lawrence. Darius Alexander specifically, Roy Robertson Harris went down with an Achilles injury. He'll miss the entire season, more than likely. Darius Alexander is going to have an opportunity to prove himself as the pass rusher from the interior from that group. I know Giants fans are low on him. He came in, had a bad camp. I think he was out of shape last season. Didn't really stuff the stats. I thought he flashed a little bit at certain points where I'm watching the game, and he didn't really have a lot of opportunities last year either. But and he's an older second year guy. He's probably 26, right? But he flashed. I thought he got some quick wins at times where if he can build on that and face one on ones every single rep pretty much because of who's on the edge for the Giants. I wouldn't be shocked if this guy had 5 6 sacks. And I know that's not a lot, but if you look at that, say, okay, this is our third defensive lineman, or excuse me, third defensive tackle. He's got 5 sacks. He's kind of a pass rush specialist, third round pick. Coming into this season, what he was viewed as after his rookie year, I think most Giants fans would say that's a win, right? This guy can impact the game in some way, and I just wouldn't be shocked if the guy had 5.5, 6 sacks this season. All right, next up, going to be Drew Phillips. Really big fan of this guy. Had a really strong rookie campaign. Kind of some coverage lapses last year. I know some guys are out on him. They think he sucks. They think he, can't cover anybody. I love what he does as a run defender. He's one of the best run defenders I've seen as a Giants fan. I just won't be told, similar to Abdul Carter, he can't be better in this system than he was under Shane Bowen. And to me, like one of the telltale signs that this is going to work out is the Giants have faith in him. The cornerback room is awful. It still is. They drafted Colton Hood. They added Newsome. The cornerback room is still awful. Paulson Adebo as your corner one, we'll get into later. Not optimal. Cornerback 2 is either going to be a rookie, Greg Newsome, or Deontay Banks, who's been awful. The slot nickel corner, some would say like, hey, that could have been upgraded too. The cornerback room as a whole lacked, but they didn't do anything to replace Drew Phillips, and they could have. They added Ardarius Washington. Stop. He's going to play safety. He's not going to take Drew Phillips' role as nickel corner unless Phillips goes down with injury. I believe he did take some snaps there during OTAs because Phillips was absent. If Phillips is 100%, he's going to be the nickel corner, and I think the Giants have faith in him to be an impact player. Final guy, it's going to be Tyrone Tracy. Final guy I'm higher on, that is. I think he's just kind of overshadowed and forgotten from fans around the league, from Giants fans. Kind of a waiver wire pickup, fantasy guy, his rookie season, even last year after Scadaboo went down. He's a home run hitter. He is. He's kind of a one cut back, but he's a strong runner too when he needs to be. He's got good enough long speed where he can take a 40-yard run to the house. Obviously, he played some receiver in college, so he's a decent pass catcher as well. Maybe not as good as you'd think, honestly. At least that's my opinion, but certainly for a running back, he's certainly viable as a receiver. In tandem with Cam Scadaboo, if they're both healthy, behind a reinforced offensive line, you had Maui Noah, you retain Illuminor, hopefully Schmitz, Runyon, Thomas also, stay healthy. Ricard at fullback, running behind him, some stuff to the perimeter with him lead blocking. I think he's poised for a pretty decent season if all goes as planned. He's battled injury and still produced, right? His rookie year, he had that ankle injury during camp. Thought maybe he would miss his entire rookie campaign, or at least part of it. Was okay, but obviously still an ankle sprain, something you got to work back from. I believe he had a shoulder last year early in the season, right? That kind of gave Scadaboo some opportunity. If he stays healthy, if Scadaboo stays healthy, the line stays healthy, obviously a lot of if, but even if they don't, I think he can contribute to the offense that's going to look to run the ball quite a bit this year under John Harbaugh, Greg Roman, obviously as a run game coordinator, Jackson Dart, young quarterback. We'll get into that in a second here. I think they're going to look to run the ball and be a smash mouth football team, and he could be the nice kind of lightning to the thunder that is Cam Scadaboo. All right, the 5 Giants I'm lower on. We're going to start out with Jackson Dart. Year 2 isn't always friendly to quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks going into their sophomore year that had a really good, strong year one. I think Dart could fall in that same category where you just didn't see him ascend the way you were hoping to see after year one. I don't think he's going to get injured or have an injury problem that could play into it, sort of Jaden Daniels, or you could just see kind of a slump similar to like a CJ Stroud. Let's get into why. I still think he's probably the best quarterback in the class this year. Going forward, either him or Cam Ward, I still think will have the best career. I'm still high on Jackson Dart. I don't want the Giants to do anything at the quarterback position for the foreseeable future. I think they have their guy in Dart. The reason I'm lower on him is I just think the media props him up, and I think Giants fans prop him up. Certainly had a good, exciting rookie year. Uses his legs, manipulates the pocket well to extend plays, make plays downfield. Um, didn't have pretty much anybody around him. No Malik Neighbors, no Cam Scadaboo for half the season. Um, throwing to guys like Lil Jordan Humphrey in that Thursday night game against the Eagles, just thin out there. And the roster has certainly improved, but a good kind of measure of what I'm saying with he's propped up, and more so than the media, some fans too, is like if you look at or are into trading cards, football trading cards, his market, the value of his cards are similar to like a Patrick Mahomes rookie, Josh Allen rookie, what a Tom Brady, this that, autograph from like a current set, the Topps Chrome football. Look at the Topps Chrome football Jackson Dart prices. It's insane. He's there's what I'm getting at is there's almost no more ascension for him in that market, right? I know that's not translatable to what he's going to do next season, but it is sort of a projection. Some people invest in sports cards, and it really just doesn't get any higher. You know what I mean? The guy would have to be like a perennial MVP, one of the goats, for his card market to go any higher. I think some Giants fans have a blind eye to some of the holes in his game. He doesn't have the biggest arm. You know what I mean? I think he doesn't really work to the receiver that well. I think he throws a lot to the tight end, maybe the wide receiver one, running back, but I like to see him progress more to every single weapon on the field as a passer. And again, like I mentioned, the arm isn't fantastic, arm strength wise. I think he's accurate. Obviously, he uses the legs well. He manipulates the pocket like almost elite. His pocket awareness, which wasn't something he had in college, but um, he could play at an elite level and shut me up completely, and I would be thrilled with that. You know what I mean? I'd come on and make another video following up with this and celebrate it. I just think the national rave around him may taper. Going into year two, obviously there's tape in an NFL system on a year two quarterback, and some of these guys just struggle to kind of find their groove and struggle to keep ascending and keep progressing as players after defensive coordinators can find a way to scheme against them and limit their positives and exploit their negatives. Next up, Isaiah Likely. Look, 477 yards, 6 touchdowns is his best season as a pro. Obviously, he played behind Mark Andrews. I think some Giants fans are writing this one off as a home run, slam dunk. I don't think it's that. I think he's a pretty solid tight end. He's the fourth highest paid tight end, AAV, $13.33 million a year. He's not the fourth best tight end in the league. I don't think he will be after the season. I don't think he will be after 2 seasons. In that same breath, though, $13.33 million really isn't bad for a weapon offensively, which is what the Giants will use him as. Obviously, a pass catcher, he can block a little bit too, but that's similar to Khalil Shakir AAV, right? I think he likely makes less than like $100K a year more than Shakir does on his deal. So from that perspective, it's fine. I just think the Giants media is pushing him heavily. I think the Giants fans are biting. He's one of those guys that they're going to put on X like for a wallpaper. Like the Giants account will post like wallpapers of Malik Neighbors, Jackson Dart, Brian Burns, and it'll be Isaiah Likely. It's like he's not that caliber of player. He's not. He's not a top player on the team. I think he needs to prove himself as an elite tight end before we kind of give him that praise going forward. Next up, Tremaine Edmonds. Solid linebacker. He's been inconsistent throughout his career. Obviously, came in younger prospect. He was like 19 as a rookie. I just don't think the contract reflects the level of player that he is, the level of linebacker he is. And I think you're buying high coming out of Chicago too, where Chicago had a really good year. So kind of everyone in that team gets a little bit more money on the open market than maybe they would have if they had won 6 games. Obviously, these players wouldn't have played as well if they won 6 games, but you kind of get the drift. I don't think he's great in coverage, solid run defender, which the Giants need. I just don't think he's going to live up to the expectations put on him, right? Another guy that's like a borderline wallpaper guy for the Giants. Maybe you see a Tremaine Edmonds wallpaper posted by the Giants too. It's like, I just don't think he's that good. I don't think he will be that good. And again, I hate to be a negative Nancy, but just giving you my takes. I would love for any of these players to prove me wrong. Like, hey, I'm low on this guy, and he lights it up. Likely scores 15 touchdowns. Like, sign me up, man. I would love it. I just throwing a little cold water on some of the hype for some of these guys. Next up, Paulson Adebo. Just not a corner one, man. He's not a cornerback one. He was bad last year, injured often over the last 2 seasons. I just don't think he can hang with wide receiver ones. Some people think he can bounce back and maybe live up to his contract, live up to some of the initial hype he had coming in last season as a free agent. I'm just not convinced he can do it. I'm not convinced he can stay healthy. I'm not convinced he can guard wide receiver ones, and they really didn't have any competition, barring a Greg Newsome breakout, which and then Colton Hood breakout, which again, if you're a top corner draft prospect, you're going to go pretty high. I mean, I like Hood, but I think a realistic ceiling, right? Anything's possible, but a realistic ceiling is probably pretty good cornerback too. I don't think he's going to step into a CB1 role, especially not as a rookie. So I just think you're going to see Adebo struggle, maybe get injured, but even if he's out there, I just don't think he's a plus player for the Giants and a very weak secondary. Wide receiver 2, Mooney, Slayton, similar players, right? Like, honestly, maybe the best comparison is one another. If you were to say who's the best comp for Darnell Mooney, you'd say Darius Slayton. Same for Slayton, you would say Mooney. They'll likely be relied upon a decent amount coming into this year, especially early in the season when you look at, Malik Neighbors, whether or not he's ready for week 1. If he's not, obviously, like these guys step into the wide receiver 1 and 2 more than likely. Even if Neighbors is back week 1, there's going to be a ramp up period where, he gets used to going full for 4 quarters against, live speed. And these guys are going to see a little bit more targets than someone like myself wants to see. Used to love Slayton. I think he's kind of ran his course as a wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3 in an offense. I think they're both closer to wide receiver 4s. Mooney hasn't been very successful either in a while. Slayton drops the ball. So yeah, I just think both aren't great. In even if Neighbors wasn't injured, I would feel the same way. But he did tear his ACL last year, and I'm not comfortable with these guys, being a focal part of the offense. All right, guys, that's going to do it for now. Kind of the lull of the off season right now. I'm recording it late June. We'll see when I post, but not too much news. I figured it's a good idea to soft launch something like this. Kind of learn the ins and outs of how I'm going to record, what I'm going to talk about, cadence when I speak. how to get the border around my head here that you see now, um, and like that. Just kind of practice where if I want to take this a little bit more seriously into the season, I'm doing so with a little bit of experience at least. I encourage you to subscribe. I may have a player interview soon. So if you like Giants football players, offensive players, uh, stay tuned and be on the lookout for that. I might have that up. And I might just see if there's other creators out there that might be interested in hopping on for a few minutes. You know what I mean? I'm not into the long form stuff right now. I'll probably try to keep stuff under the 30-minute mark, regardless of what I do. Um, I think that's better for viewer retention, and uh, I just think it's better for viewer retention. And yeah, that's all I got for right now. Like, comment, subscribe. See ya.